Hello, lovely, inspiring human potential community. In this IHP Universal Energy Transmission session, we will be clearing charged emotional and mental patterns around labels, duality, fixed story dynamics, hero versus world, everything that keeps your heart and mind in a battle format from within and with your life, the people around you, the world. Being able to bring harmony and pursue inner growth as a constant mindset journey and lifestyle approach supports your higher human consciousness potential, your higher heart, mind, and body frequency, that lovely 5D and beyond, or the enlightenment vibration state of consciousness, self-empowerment as a functional adult, those aspects that we discuss of how you can be engaged in your ventral vagal state from your body, and that all these aspects are yours and begin with mind and heart, that harmony and the ability that you hold to expand from your thinking brain and feeling heart the topics at hand. So duality doesn't serve your expansion. And in this arena, we have a couple of different things we'll be taking a look at. But first of all, as an energy healer, during this session, I will be channeling universal love energy through me into you. If you are open and receptive to this universal love energy, which is always sent to and for your highest and best good, that will be channeled through me into you, give your consent, state aloud or in your mind, yes, that you are open and receptive. And let's take a brief pause while I connect you energetically. What I would like you to do is focus on the shaman's dream oracle card that you see. Today I will actually read to you part of what the booklet has to say, because it is very much in line with these topics of duality, labels, these narratives that accompany your experiences and therefore keep you in a specific focus instead of an expanded approach, an expanded aspect that, thanks to a video that I saw also with Sadhguru today, I will be sharing. And it is very interesting how he explains the ability for us to be, consciously speaking, participant when we're open to all without judging, without this focus. The duality doesn't allow your mind, furthermore, to be in an expanded version because you're honed in this defense mode. And again, the regular listeners, you guys know this. So before we go on any further, let me take a minute to read to you what our lovely Shaman's Dream Oracle card. It's titled Many Masks, as you can see. The Authentic Self is its subtitle. And that's exactly what you achieve visibility of as you allow yourself to sift through these twos. Because the labels, the duality, the fixed story is something that you've been using yourself as somebody who began identifying with the external. Because we all learned who we are, what we are, according to what we were being shared and told. Some of us made it our own, some of us not quite yet. And as you get to disengage from you doing that with yourself and others, you again gain that expansion, and in fact you gain visibility of your authentic self, and you're able to do the same with the external. And as Sadhguru points out when he finishes his video, it's a mirror. It's a mirror where you see there's no distortions, there's no taintedness. You see clearly because you're really consciously present without these labels that don't permit you to just see, experience, but give you an already idea, this veil that takes away from the experience of life. We'll put it that way, besides the experience of your own self. The authentic self, energizing internal allies, a conscious shift. We live in a world where everyone we see wears a mask. We wear these masks to cover up and protect who we really are. We learn to do so because we've been conditioned to try to appear a certain way to fit into society. Masks allow us to belong, so we remain within the confines of what is expected. right here, for the 5D self-empowered, enlightened person tuning in, and in this case, watching our lovely video, we don't wear masks to cover up, and never have, but we have met people that do so. And there is a way that all of us begin to learn to coexist. It's not a conditioning, it is a natural way that society has evolved to have a tribe, to have a community. It's part of our mammalian heritage. So right here, thinking of a mask as a bad or good thing keeps a person confined in a narrative. When people, let's say, have heartbreak, whether with friends, lovers, it doesn't matter what, it can even be a dream that doesn't come true career-wise. These narratives in twos is not ideal to seeing the mirror, to simply being in that now. And so that creates an emotional and mental conflict, which affects you immediately and doesn't get you to move beyond when you use that word conditioned. In fact, thinking of masks as something that is a conditioning is pretty much erroneous in the book of the person that realizes, well, of course we have areas that we learn how to express and experience. Again, we are just now, as a society, building into the state of 5D consciousness. Therefore, we're just now beginning to take a look at how we word things, at how we can express. So going from the story that is in duality, this battlefield, it's you against the world, this hero and villain type thing. So in this case, the conditioning, again, and the mask, as if it were done in a way. Not going to get your mind to expand. It's not going to get you to your authentic self. It'll keep you in a specific arena with that. And that's you with your masks and others with theirs, and or a society that has conditioned you. However you want to put it, if someone has a label of a bad guy, you're not going to be in a ventral vagal state in your body because you're not free to be your authentic self. And this ties in with the psychoeducation that I am building. And so societal culture and us fitting in, the part about the confines and what is expected. We all will have areas that will lead with, if I have a day-to-day job, I have certain expectations. I'm not going to disengage from them, and I don't have to consider the work environment the way I must present myself as a mask that is good or bad. In fact, the psychiatrists, psychologists that I learned from with the neuroscience experience and the new pieces of information that are coming through with our nervous system and brain development are very much always discussing how we manage different parts of ourselves. And so the different parts of yourself you also manage. This is why if you keep a conflict mindset, that doesn't help to create ease within your body. And so finding your authentic self is awesome. And as you think of it, don't think of you battling society or the world, because we coexist. We are a part of society, and that mammalian heritage will want to be a part of that. And you can learn, thanks to being in your emotional and mental body, so within you, knowing that you can reassure yourself that it's okay to be you, but that there are these masks in a way, and that as you gain comfort in being your true self, the authentic self, which your support system, everything and everyone that surrounds you has an impact on you. And this is where we organized just recently in our first session those who boost you up and those who don't. What you want more of are those who boost you up. And it isn't about them saying you're right or wrong. It's a feeling. They expand you. They have genuine care for anything that is yours and that you get excited about. They have genuine care when you share with them something you're upset about. And that genuineness isn't them telling you what to do. It's them listening. So that mirror, they listen without veils, without distortions, without their own ego self desires. They're just listening. And a body feels that. Because when that is happening, you feel completely expressed. There is no mask. There's just you and the person and or people, the support system. Very important. And those who expand you are usually those who you go to. But pay attention, because there are those who are trusting because they're part of your family, part of your group, but you may just not feel as uplifted. And so it's good for you as you gain that familiarity with your own inner, shame or conflict parts, because there are areas of our own selves, particularly the ones that are considered vices, that we will hold against ourselves until we become those lovely adults. So where you have complete compassion and love for yourself as you are, with the imperfections. And the people who don't expand you in the way I described, they don't help to bring that forth. That's more like a reminder to your inner child. Society saying, external, this person is saying it's not a good thing, and it's not in the words, it's a feeling of not expression. And so here's where you can be your best cheerleader. And people, though, who don't pay attention to the feeling that is actually restricting the expansion. So you're thinking of it in terms of battle format. This person just judged me, I'll just not say anything next time. That doesn't expand you. It actually confines you, because you've not taken the time to say, you know what, I am okay with this vice, this particular trait that this person finds annoying, whatever it is. It's something silly to people, but it's so important to feeling completely expressed, completely your authentic self. To feel free is a very big possibility. Personally, I live it every day with the people that are around me in those moments of support. I don't have to wear a mask. I don't wear a mask. In fact, there's transparency. And you can all achieve this, but paying attention to your body is very important, and then choosing to protect and defend you. And when I say protect, I mean to protect that part that you're still insecure about, FYI, because it's up to you to be able and unconditionally love yourself with those imperfections. And we're not really used to that, because we did grow up from being the child with the society that told us what was good or bad in different ways to help us to coexist, which is also why now that we're grown-ups, we don't have to feel that inner conflict and or inner shame, shyness. It's a feeling that, again, the body's like holding back. So these masks that we wear, and that you can share with people that are the expanded version of the people, your support system. So you can be silly, and nothing you'll say will ever make you feel that they are judging you. Those are the people you want more of. That's that abundance grows where energy flows. So if you're needing to explain yourself, and or you're always in a state of half fully you, half I have to hold back, you're not actually allowing yourself room to grow more abundant in the emotional mental realm. And so your authentic self cannot come forth, because those masks, you are using them to gauge. Get familiar with your masks, then allocate them and work with the emotions. And let's see, they continue to say, for the Shaman's Dream Oracle, masks are not inherently bad, rather they provide context and structure for our personalities and expression. Some of us might believe that a particular mask fixed and hardened onto us is our permanent face. We forget that we are living beings with a multitude of faces, enabling us to experience a fuller, more vibrant world. Your authentic essence doesn't want to be constrained by others' expectations anymore. Our authentic essence has never enjoyed constraint, but our authentic essence begins as children, again, so we learn how to coexist. And then as we get older, we can face those societal labels, the duality, which is what people don't tend to do, because they tend to think in that way. It's once you're able to, again, be up in that neutrality, listening to yourself, which is what those who pursue inner growth do, right? You are looking always within. Whenever there's an emotional state that arises that is not in a comfort, not in harmony, not in flow, you go to your heart. And that's uncovering that authentic self. Through compassion, you continue to be expanding. right now, it's really important to allow yourself to experiment, to experience the world in all its myriad potentials and possibilities. This is where we will thank the Shaman's Dream Oracle and put it away. The masks that you have accepted and that you know of, I am sure all of the different ones, you can, through this video, you can come back and keep thinking on it. We're not done just yet, but you can evaluate and bring yourself to a neutral stance with these masks. Whatever has come to mind for you in the idea of how your authentic self is in a narrative, and the masks that you wear in order for you to appease your support system, your society, your work, all these amazing aspects. Keep them in mind. And let's take a look for a second at what Sadhguru has to share about. He's talking about enhancing focus, and he is sharing how we can be conscious of many things at once, but how there's a difference when you're focusing versus being able to be open. So he says mental focus is a limited possibility, but the enhancement of attention, that ultimately delivers you to a space where you become conscious. He says, or in other people's words, super conscious. It's just conscious, but people think you're super conscious. Because of this, you grasp everything as it is. The most important thing for this is that your mind is not functioning like a prism, distorting things and creating designs where they don't exist. Your mind has become like a plain mirror. It just shows everything just the way it is. Only when you see everything just the way it is, you will have the ability to handle everything sensibly. Otherwise, you make a mess out of many things. And this is very important for an entrepreneur because you don't have a job. I chuckled as he's chuckling about that too, but he's trying to share what we've discussed and many other sage individuals discuss when it comes to duality. It is restrictive. The habit for people to see and choose is something that is natural when you think of how you began life and needing to be in a state of organization. We still organize, but there is that emotional realm that doesn't get taken into consideration. And with the inner growth mindset, we get to do that. We're bringing mind and heart together so we experience the emotions and the mind. And by remembering that if you bring a state of awareness to neutrality, you can allow yourself to start working from a space of unconditional love, of compassion. And it is with your thoughts and your feelings. This is how you mature your ego self. This is why it's inner growth. In fact, we do not discriminate from that lovely ego self. The regular listeners know. Anybody who's not a podcast listener but has come here for the video, and that's about it. Just so you know, there's podcasts that you can tune into where we get to dive in many different arenas on a human and spiritual perspective and bring together topics such as the 5D state of consciousness, avatar consciousness, universal consciousness. And recently we've talked about Mahasamadhi, which is Sadhguru's website. We got that definition from there, as well as how it's basically equal to this avatar consciousness, which is equal to a person being a functional adult. So when you take labels, hero versus world stories, fixed dynamics, I want you to, one, ensure that you're at ease, because at ease is always important. These universal love transmission videos are meant to walk you through an inner growth mindset and get you familiar with your body, heart, mind, to get you to be more and more in this space of expansion from your thought. Because so many people have always said, it sounds so hard, or they think I discriminate against feelings because I share with them what they can do in moments of anger or upset. The mindset helps you to grow, and it really helps the authentic self to come forth. The masks are not as even in the Shaman's Dream Oracle says, good or bad. They're there for reasons. And your emotions are the first place that will tell you why they're there. And it will have a story. And since we began storytelling as children, those stories still accompany. We've learned about neural networks through our podcast episodes, and every human being has them. They are created for every emotion we experience, every experience we experience, every word we use. And every time you have an experience with that neural network, the example was if we have a dog, we have a neural network for dogs. And every time we go through an experience with a dog, it'll add to it. So right now, what I want you to do, for the purpose of finishing up, focus on one label or one narrative of duality that you know hinders your expansion. It keeps you in an inner conflict state because it creates a very specific type of dilemma, if you will. And it's not a dilemma in a dramatic way, but it's keeping you revisiting the same storylines, the same thoughts. So something that is a loop over and over and over again. You're not able to quite get past it, okay? So now that you've focused on this, first things first, allow that lovely universal love to take its place. Allow your rhythmic breathing, your natural body's calm to begin. And what I want you to revisit as you're doing this is what emotions came up and where, as I was asking you to hone in on the one thing that is keeping you in this limbo. Doesn't have to be related to your authentic self or not. Whatever came up that is in labels, duality, this narrative, you against the world or the world against you. So pay attention to where that emotion arose and allow yourself to bring sense of ease as you breathe and focus on your heart and bring lightness to your mind. You don't have to think about anything specific. What we want to do is allow you to get comfortable with something that is uncomfortable. And that something is a thought. So the feeling, if you gain a sense of ease with that specific item, you're starting to tell your body, we're not in danger. So that lack of predictability that the nervous system doesn't like, or the fact that our body stores things that scare us, things that haven't been emotionally processed. Anything that gives a conflict isn't fully processed. There's a charged emotional mental state. So with that awareness in your body and bringing ease, you're reassuring your body that you're not in any threat. And this is going to help you then think things through. As Sadhguru points out in the end of his video, you will think clearer when that mirror is simply mirror. You don't have storylines. You don't have narratives. There's not a good guy, bad guy scenario. If you're in that, your mind and body are not safe to explore. And that's why people have a hard time exploring aspects and consistently use a duality, because it's the way that the body's looking outside, and so you're interacting. What you do with the inner growth journey, mindset, and lifestyle approach is you actually are getting familiar with the inner world following the interaction. So the interaction took place. It can be a situation, a person, a thing. It took place. What you get left with is you. Once you bring that love to this space in your body and to this idea, I want you to also consider if there are any judgments towards those feelings, towards that vulnerability, towards that battle format, towards the narrative. Is the ego feeling, oh, I like it because I'm better or I'm worse? Is there that? Is there a competitive aspect? If you recognize that energy, you'll notice it's childlike, because that's what it is. Competition is childlike. When egos are insecure, they need to compete. Self-empowered, the person who's their authentic self, accepting yourself with unconditional love, doesn't get charged that way. They stay in their ventral vagal state. They stay in a functional adult state from the body, mind, and heart. So pay attention. Don't discriminate it. It's not bad or good. Start to get familiar with those child self emotional parts that arise. And that way, with the ego self, you can slowly, on your own timing, ask yourself, do I want to stay in this charged state? Because here's that map of consciousness for the regular listeners. We know that it can be in enlightenment or below neutrality. And your body vibes. So you're also getting familiar with mastering that vibe. You are a mind, heart, and body. And it all vibes at once, really. The emotions, energy and motion. This is why we focus more on the emotions than the mind. Because if the emotions are at ease, then you'll contemplate. And walking yourself to the third, to the neutrality, is part of that 5D self-empowerment. Any label, any narrative keeps you stuck. It's not the other way around. The external isn't what you will have the power to work with. It is the inner world. And as you expand your inner world, your authentic self, and you're able to think from your mind new perspectives. So begin expanding your perspective and moving away from the battlefield, the narrative, the duality in whatever the situation is. Find something that has harmony. Find something that bridges. Find something different. As you allow yourself to just contemplate, I'm not going to stay in this pattern, you're going to allow yourself to move to another. And that other is whatever you choose it to be. If you keep on thinking you need to wear masks and or be in battle format, so you keep feeling skeptical towards being free within your own self, vices, virtues, and that instead that societal norm and conformity, that feeling, which is a body that feels I must fit in this way, I must belong, versus our mammalian heritage, attachment, defensive state. And by the way, we'll always have a belonging because we're 7 billion people on the planet. When you can be at ease with your authentic self in that, here's where the transformational leadership of you for your life, and then if you're looking to also support others, will come forth, as well as much, much fulfillment and abundance. And having said this, I now have disconnected from you. And thank you all for joining this other amazing session. I look forward to gaining more and more familiarity with creating different ways for us to exercise your inner growth mindset and journey, this lifestyle. So be back again with another one soon.